This is sports stuff, betting stuff. Ka-chow.
Ka-chow!
And you guys are right. I don't know if it doesn't seem as loud, but when you just did that,
It's loud, huh?
like,
You
yeah,
now
it's a little louder
understand.
whenever it's pumped directly into your ears.
You now understand the pain. The pain. This is Sports Stuff Betting Stuff, number one sports betting podcast coming out of the Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff Enterprise. I am your host, the original degenerate Muff. Also joining the Ohio Homer, the Ohio Degenerate, the Ohio State dude, and crack house fan himself, Jim.
Yes, sir. That's me,
And
Mayor of the crack house.
mayor of the crack
Mayor
house.
of the
I
crack
love it.
house. Also, the original degenerate, sidekick, the medical degenerate, the degenerate of all things medicinal, except those things that you're thinking about first in your mind, Alex.
That's me.
There we go. That's Alex. And I realize that I'm missing something from my normal attire. My token.
Your token.
The Bear sweater's already been retired for anyone watching. Did not go well last week.
Nah, no, it didn't.
The bear
One day I'm
sweater.
going to find a token with some good juju and I'm going to stick with it, but the Bear sweater's out.
Bear sweater.
Plus, the beginning of football season in that Bear sweater would be hot.
Oh, that's a good point.
That would be a bad idea. Bad idea for your life.
Hello, loyal listeners, Sports Hub Jim Up. This is take number 4, but I would like for you to rate, comment, subscribe, poke, tickle. I can't say anything else because there are children around. So do all the fun things.
So this is Sports Stuff Betting Stuff. We're going to chat about not all of last week's best bets from the March Madness week 1 or weekend 1, I should say, because that's a lot of games to chat about. That's like 48 games. So what we're going to do on this quick episode is go over the total wins and losses from last week, our winning percentages, and then we'll get into the Sweet 16 matchups, which will be the basis for where we start. And obviously after that, we'll continue to make our bets, but we won't have additional episodes. So getting into where things stand when it comes to our winning percentages, our wins and losses.
Whoa. Some of us are winning. Some of us are even. And some of us aren't winning at all.
That's inaccurate because Alex is still winning, but not as much.
Well, okay.
That's how that's.
I mean, overall, I have a lot to be desired this week.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Alex. So we'll go from worst to first. Bringing up the rear, I think has already been alluded to, is Alex.
That's me. So I went 20 and 24 thus far with a winning percentage at 45.45. So at least I have a cool number. But not full in the way. Let's see what some key wins for me were this past week. My Big 12 fan chip, I will note the Kansas minus 22.5 for the Howard win. That's again Big 12. Texas minus 13.5 versus Colgate was a nice one. I took your Penn State Nittany Lions, Muff.
Round 1, that was a winner.
It was a winner. And Princeton in the second round. That was a big one. So those are some of my highlights. Not many to talk about. TCU versus Gonzaga. That was another one. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Not great. Not completely mutilated. But we have a lot of work to do this week.
A lot of work to catch up for Alex. I was in second place. I went 22 and 22, right on the 500 mark. I wish I would have stuck with some of my gut early on and take more unders, because if I remember correctly, especially those first 2 days, unders were hitting at a high clip.
Good time to play the under. Good time to play the under.
I want to say in day 1, I think like 7 of 8 games.
The unders are 35 and 17 in the tournament.
Yeah.
But life's too short to bet the under.
It is, but I wish I would have kept my life short and bet the under. I did in a few games, which were part of my my good start to day one. I started day one well, and then just continued to kind of go down and down and down. So my highlights were the fact that I was willing to bet the under, and when I did, it was a good thing.
Was it huge?
It was not huge. If it was huge, we'd be talking differently, and I would have taken
Luke?
advantage a little bit more.
Lucrative unders.
Yes,
You'd be up a lot if you think about it. You bet straight unders.
it'd be a good time to be alive. And in the top spot, in first place, I'll let him explain his record.
The man, the myth,
Mm.
guy who was just winging it. I am 27-17, winning percentage of 61.36. That's me.
I
Like,
feel like you
in-
made a false statement there.
How you figure?
Just winging it.
Yeah, I had some help. I had some help.
I forgot about that till just now. And before that, I was gonna say you're like the quintessential person who's playing fantasy but doesn't always pick through fantasy, just picks the person with the best numbers.
Yeah,
But,
no, I had some help. I
Nope.
called in a ringer. Shout out to Noah, my dude. He's got a guy who has a guy, and Noah's my guy. So I got a guy. We should have him on the show sometime. Lovely guy. He's a hoot.
Okay. Maybe when we
Always-
get into
always
next
down.
football season? Or is this
It might be a Final Four thing. We might need to have him on because he's a good time.
Is he a basketball guy too, or football guy too, or just basketball?
He's a true blue degenerate, guys. He's
He's
a
everything.
true blue degenerate.
Underwater basket weaving,
He
betting.
probably would bet on it.
That's fair.
All right, Jim, any special things that you're like, glad I got that.
A lot of my unders or my money line picks, I'm very happy with because those aren't necessarily him. He doesn't necessarily play those, but I do. So like the big one, I just saw it. Uh, damn, where's it at? The Indiana versus Miami. I took Miami money line.
Mhm.
Big happiness for that one. The Kansas State, Kentucky, I had the under 145. Was happy with that one. Those are probably my two standout ones where I was like, cool.
Cool. Why the Miami money line? It was only a 1.5 point spread, so it was close to a pick 'em anyway.
Because like I couldn't decide what I was gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, screw it. And that's one of those Jim actually winged it.
I have come to terms with the fact that Jim will never understand the money line versus like the little spreads and the pick'em things.
Yeah.
Like I feel like this is just a regular discussion we've had.
Yeah, this is
But
just a
that's
Jim
okay.
move. Yep.
It's just something that Jim's never gonna really grasp.
Nope.
So we're just gonna have to go with it.
I don't know. I will say, Alex, in my defense, this basketball betting has helped me a little bit figure this out. A little
Okay.
bit. Like today, I was
What does a money line dog mean?
I'm still working on that part.
Okay, got it.
Still working on it. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get there at some point. Okay, so we're gonna get into the Sweet 16 matchups because that's as far as we can go ahead. So that's 8 games to add to our slate here. In the first game in Thursday early evening, we've got Michigan State taking on Kansas State. Michigan State favored by 1.5, over under 137.5.
Can we go over because we've picked up some new listeners? I'm not gonna lie, we've picked up some new listeners.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people have caught on that I have a podcast. Can we go over what the rules are that we are betting with in the tournament, please?
We are betting on either spread bets, over unders, and you can bet a money line favorite if it is a 3.5 point favorite or lower.
Right.
Those are the options that we have.
We'll have to go over those rules multiple more times while Jim picks his bets. So don't worry, listeners. Just stay tuned. You'll get them eventually.
Right.
You'll get there sooner or later. So again, Michigan State, Kansas State, Michigan State favored by 1.5, over under 137.5 points. Sparty doing Sparty things. Tom Izzo makes it to the Sweet 16 again.
I have a hard time not taking Michigan State in this one.
Mhm.
I trust the Izzo. The under looks nice here as well.
I feel like
But
you're
the-
gonna fall. Don't fall into a trap of taking all unders because the New England.
I know,
That's
I
my
know.
advice as your friend.
Now I know I'm not supposed to take, money lines in this situation, correct?
Yes, you can
Yeah,
because it's
yes,
less
Jim.
than 3.5.
I thought you said more.
No, 3.5 or less.
Why would that make any in a winner, a money line winner, not a money line dog, money line underdog? You can take any time.
Money line favorite has to be
That's
3.5 points or
That's what
lower.
I'm talking about. Because Kansas State, the money here, they're
yes. So you
Kansas
you
State
can
would be a
take
money
that.
line dog, Jim.
Which for anyone
Mm,
who's listening and still hasn't caught on either, would mean that they are the underdogs in the game, and the money line is picking the winner.
gotcha.
Okay, I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. I'm gonna take Kansas State money line dog. That's my pick.
I am probably gonna stick with this is one that I'm gonna actually go with that under.
I'm gonna bet the
Jim, who
under.
you following? All
I'm
right.
gonna bet the under.
You made with my stellar record. You don't want to tell me.
No, I might throw some money on that later, but for my best bet, I'm gonna stick with the money line or the under.
So foreshadowing for the next game, Jim. The next game is Arkansas versus UConn. UConn is favored by 4.5 points.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to take UConn money line in this game?
I'm gonna.
No, you may
No, you're
not.
not allowed. No, you're not allowed.
Well, I already put the money in.
Do you know why you can't, Jim?
No.
At a 4.5 point favorite, that is more than a 3.5 point favorite, which means you cannot take the money line for our rules, for our best bet rules.
That's redonkulous.
So thank you so much to all of Jim's new friends for listening, and also the fact that he pretended he needed to explain the rules to you because he has no idea the rules still and wanted one more time to hear them before we started was the perfect cover up.
I want the money line
Why?
Okay.
Explain why.
because that's what I want to bet.
You can bet it, it's just not going to be one of your best bets.
That's bullshit.
Which leads me to believe that we should probably go back and look at all of Jim's bets and make sure that they fit our criterion, Alex.
I do feel like they should be audited. We're gonna have to do a bet audit.
Should be an audit situation. At first glance, I don't think there were any transgressions.
Thank
think
you,
you were
loyal
good, Jim.
listeners.
I think you were good, Jim.
I feel like he did what he said he was going to do, so we kept him in line.
All right.
I was worried about that round of 32 games, but it seems like he did okay.
Anyway, Arkansas at UConn. UConn 4.5 point favorites, over under 139.5. I am going to be on Arkansas plus the points in this one.
I want to take UConn because I rode UConn pretty hard in the beginning, but I think after watching Arkansas play this past week, and it's not just spitefulness that I'm sad I didn't pick them, I'm going to go with it. Arkansas plus 4.5.
So, Jim, are you going to take UConn to cover? What are you going to do, buddy?
I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do UConn to cover.
Jim's on UConn minus 4.5. There we go. In the next game,
No, back that up. Back that up. Back that up. I'm gonna take the under.
under 139.5 is what Jim is on until he has a guy that tells him differently.
No, I already bet the money line. You can't steer me off that.
I can't steer you off it. It's not going to count.
Right. Yeah.
Next, it's going to count for you, but not for this record.
Right.
Next, we have Florida Atlantic, the 9 seed, taking on Tennessee, 4 seed. Tennessee favored by 4.5, over under 129.5, which I think is the lowest total of the Sweet 16 matchups.
Yeah, that tempts me to take the over, but I feel like it's a trap, and I'm not really sure why. But I think this is where FAU's run ends. Tennessee is a big, aggressive team, and I think they handle their business here. So I will go with the Tennessee Volunteers minus 4.5.
I am with Alex on this, and I am going to mimic that pick, Tennessee to cover 4.5.
As will I.
Next, we have a matchup that was supposed to happen. Number 3 seed Gonzaga taking on number 2 seed UCLA. UCLA favored by 1.5 points, over under 145.5 points. Looking for a high scoring game. I think that's the highest. Nope, the second highest, I believe. Second highest over under. This is one of those where you're what?
Betting the under.
Jim's gonna bet the under 145.5. This is I feel like I lean more towards this over under than the spread just because I'm just not sure about this.
Yeah, in this one lean UCLA. And I think I'm gonna stick with my gut.
Yeah, I was leaning that way as well. And I'm gonna join that. I'm gonna take UCLA money line.
Oh yeah, 'cause you're allowed to do that.
This is Jim. Why am I allowed to do that?
Because they're the favorites.
Well, that's yes, but how many
By
points?
what? By how much?
By more than 3.5.
No. Why? Where are you getting more than 3.5?
I'm busy looking at my stuff. Hold on.
We need you to understand
All
this, Jim.
All right, so let's try it on the next game. The next game is San Diego State and Alabama. Alabama is favored by 7.5 points. I'm gonna take Alabama money line. Can I do that?
Jim?
Yes.
No. Why in the world do you think that's okay?
This rule is stupid.
Why is it? No, it's not stupid. If an NFL team is a 20-point favorite, Jim, is it fair to say I'm going to take the 20-point favorite just to win, and I don't care about the fact that they're going to
He
cover?
said he's going to take Alabama.
Minus.
He's the winner.
Yeah, he asked, can we do that with the rules we have in place? And you said yes.
I said yes.
That's not true because they're more than a 3.5 point favorite.
Okay. All right. All
I'm
right.
gonna be on the over in this game, over 137.5, San Diego State and Alabama. I think it's time for Brandon Miller and Alabama to pour on the points, and San Diego State's going to be playing catch up, and they're going to stick around just long enough to get me that over.
I think I'm gonna go in direct opposition. I'm off and go with the under.
I'm gonna
Not
take
really for any real reason other than feel it in my bones.
I'm taking the over.
Jim's joining me on the over train. Next, we have number 5 seed Miami.
You cannot take Houston money line.
Taking
You're
on
right.
Houston, a 7.5 point favorite.
Good job.
And Jim has figured it out, folks. It's only taken us the better part of 2 football seasons and 2 basketball seasons, but we have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what I'm going to do in this game. I'm very conflicted.
This game is going to pose. Houston didn't necessarily look like they're busting the doors down all weekend, that first weekend. They did what they needed to do, which is to survive and advance. And Miami obviously took down a good Indiana team in the second round, and a bit of an upset. So this is, I agree, Jim, an interesting situation.
I think I'm going to take Miami plus the points.
That's the way I lean.
That's what I'm going to do. Money line or Miami plus the points.
Gotcha. I'm with Tim on that one.
I'm gonna say Houston comes out ready to play this time. They're gonna cover this one.
Okay.
Next, we have number 15 seed, the Cinderellas of this year's tournament, Princeton taking on the 6 seed Creighton. Creighton favored by 9.5, over under 138.5.
I took Princeton plus the points.
I also
I'm gonna be on the under in this one.
go Tigers. Oh, go Tigers.
Different Tigers, go Tigers. Different Tigers this time, but here we are. And the last game of the Sweet 16. 3 Xavier taking on 2 Texas. Texas favored by 4.5 points, over under 148.5. That is the highest spread, or the highest total.
That makes me want to jump on the over. I don't know why.
Oh, I took the under all day long. All day long.
I think what I'm really going to do here is take Texas with the points.
I'm with Alex
gonna
and
stick
take
them-
Texas to cover.
Big 12 fandom coming out strong. Big 12 homer.
It's unfortunate that you have to cheer for the Horns, Alex.
I
So
know. Horns
here's
up
a
for this
question.
one.
Here's a question for the group.
Yes.
Can a parlay of favorites count from one of my best bets?
I'm gonna
You can
parlay
count the bet
of
that you make for FUD.
yeah.
Like if
We're
I
just
wanted
doing
to,
we're doing individual games for the
if I
best.
wanted to money line bet Tennessee and UConn into a parlay, the odds I got plus 120 odds.
That's fine. You can do that on the side, but it's not.
Yeah.
The best bet concept is individual game.
Right.
Mm.
But I
You're
agree
making
that
some
that's-
specialty picks.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my Sweet 16 pick, brought to you by Noah,
Okay, that's fine.
is
Jim's specialty pick.
the parlay money line those two bets.
Right. That's
Old boy would say hammer it home, and then he'd do a little hand gesture.
what explain the hand gesture, Jim.
I don't know. We'll have him on the show to explain, but he goes, whenever something good happens.
Meaning good luck, I guess.
I think that's him like sucking on his fingers when he has like baby back ribs.
One of those.
Yeah. So we'll have him on the show to explain it, maybe, but that's gonna be the parlay.
It's
Do
gonna
it up.
be parlay. That putting together multiple large odds, we'll say large favorite odds, is a staple in those that are touting the like 10 days to 10,000. They're taking a lot of large favorite picks, whether that be over under points in an NBA game, over under rebounds. A lot of it I've seen is NBA games or parlaying multiple basketball games because that's when this kind of caught on for me. So you're saying like take a minus 800 plus a minus 500 plus a minus 400 plus a minus 700 and trying to add that up to get to about an even odds or like minus 110 or plus 102. That's how a lot of people are building those 10 days to 10K situations.
Trying to break the code.
It's
I'll take a couple of my best bets and put like $1 down on it. Because like I just did that with all 8 of my picks. I took them and I put $1 down and could win $186, but if not, I lose $1. But if I'm perfect, not only am I perfect, but also I'm $186 richer.
I'm down. I'm down.
Indeed. Okay.
I just want to say that Pitt, I put some extra side money on to get into the tournament, hit for some money. And then I think, did they win their second game?
They won their first round game.
So, but to get in, I won money. And then
Yeah.
I won money again on Pitt.
Yeah, and then Xavier took them out. Which
So-
in my bracket, as a hater, I had them going to the round of 32.
How's our brackets doing, Muff?
Mine's not that good at all. This whole thing's kind of been a cluster for me.
It's not been great, no.
Not
In
been great.
the
Jimmy.
bracket challenge, on the men's side, we have a clear first place person at the moment. This is most likely going to change here shortly in Jilly Dilly,
Who's Jilly Dilly?
somebody that I know.
Good job, Jilly Dilly.
Unfortunately, that is going to be short-lived because the max points are very low because Jill Dilly had 850 had Kansas winning, and Kansas is no longer in the tournament. In second place, we have HC Rad. Not sure who that is. And tied in third place, we have Noah's bracket.
Not our Noah.
Not your Noah.
No, not my guy.
We have an ESPN fan, which is just a randomly generated name. And then Sam picks winners.
Oh,
which is also probably going to fall off because Sam picks winners had Purdue winning the championship.
all right.
So out of us, let's see. One of our sports stuff brackets is 11th,
Okay.
but it's going to fall off. I don't know. So the sports stuff brackets was this was funny. So I took our consensus first round matchup winners, and then I flipped a coin for the rest of the tournament.
Okay.
And then I did a ESPN generated bracket. It was like they had like two options for that, and then I did another one where I think I flipped the coin every time. So one of those is in 11th, and then between the rest of us, I don't even know which one yours is, Jim.
Uh,
What's your name?
I got Wrecker. He's in there. I got Hunter, Echo, and Crosshair.
Those are all yours.
Yeah.
That being the
my kids are in a
case-
bad batch, man. Star Wars.
I want to say between the three of us, I have the best bracket, and that's not saying much because it's tied for 13th.
Ooh, it's rough.
On the women's side,
Oh yeah.
anybody keeping up with the women's bracket, we also had one of those. Ryan Peoples, who I believe won last year in the women's side.
We should get him on.
We'll see. Ryan Peoples, and then I've got a couple in there. You're the dad batch, Jim.
I'm the dad batch.
You didn't fill out your bracket, Jim.
Oh, but it's filled
On the-
out. Why
on
isn't
the-
it a part of it?
On the women's side,
I did. I can't even show it to you. Why? It's just probably not part of the group.
that's the one.
Dang. Dang.
I don't know if you can still do it, buddy.
But I can tell you how many points I have. I have 460 points, Muff. Meth.
Nope, I don't think that's gonna get it for you, buddy.
Would I still
No.
be down low?
I don't think you're down low. I'm not gonna say that. You would
Okay.
be. Yeah, you'd be tied for last. I apologize.
All right. Fair.
So there we go. But
You know who's still in the women's tournament though?
women,
The Ohio State.
Alex, you're muted if that is hurting your.
That makes sense. Do you know? Damn, now it's probably funny to say. Do you know who was never in the men's tournament to start?
That's true.
The Ohio State. Do you know
That's
who was
true.
in both of the tournaments?
W.
Thank you, Mom. Jim, see me after class.
Did you have any wrestlers in the wrestling nationals?
Yep. 4 of them.
Did they place?
I don't
Okay.
even know if we did.
All right.
You didn't expect Alex to have that answer, did you?
No.
Yeah, like that was his blind defense.
That was just setting Alex up for failure. That would be like you trying to speak
Multiple-time, right?
on an Ohio State baseball situation right now.
The pistol team.
We've won.
The pistol
We've
team
won a
got
lot
a
of
natty.
rifle. We've won a lot of rifle championships.
Well, he didn't win a pistol championship. We got that one.
Okay. Well, that's kind of where this episode will wrap up. As always, you can follow us at Sports Gym Muff on Instagram and
Oh,
Twitter.
breaking news. A Canadian billionaire, Steve Apostolopoulos, joins
Perfect
bidders for Commanders. Canadian is gonna possibly own the Washington Commanders. Just want to put that out there.
Name sounded Greek.
Yeah, but he's Canadian.
There's also one that Jim pronounced, so we're not really sure what it actually sounds like, but we'll stay tuned for that.
Maybe more to come in next week's episode, the regular episode that comes out on Mondays. As a reminder, you can follow us at Sports Gym Muff on Instagram and Twitter, sportstuffw/Jim Ampersand Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Subscribe, comment, rate, review, like, poke, tickle.
Get the bell on.
All of it.
Please do the things. Check out the clips we've got going on. We've got some clips that are all about on the Facebook and the YouTubes and hanging out in some of the real sections right now. So make sure you follow us, engage with those, like them, comment on them, get into the game. And hopefully, after the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, we're all getting that easy money. And as Lizzo tells us, when we do the great things, it's going to be
About damn time.